The USA could be as little as 1 week away from our second Civil War. And be advised that I'm not talking about just some more liquor store riots, but a full-scale 3,000-mile tribal bloodbath with tanks and machine gun massacres in rebel-held cities. Ha! Sounds like a lot of fun, huh, boys and girls? This prediction is based on similarities between the USA now and the former Yugoslavia in 1991, where I served as a Croatian soldier. First, and most important, the compositions of the Yugoslav military and the Yugoslav police were different. The police were mostly drawn from the area in which they were stationed, but the federal Yugoslav military was composed of all ethnic groups, with Serbs being the most numerous because they were the largest ethnic group in Yugoslavia. Thus, in heavily Croat areas, many small federal military bases were surrounded and captured by the local police, who were almost all Croats. In 1991 and 1992, I was a foreign volunteer soldier in the Croatian army, and for several months I was stationed in the small town of Perusic. Its population was about 2,000, and almost all of them were Croats. Perusic was the very first town captured by the Croatian rebels. I came to know many of these Croat rebels because they were my brothers in arms, and they told me much about the events that kicked off a horrific tribal civil war. It must be remembered that from the start of the hostilities in Perusic, it was only 1 week, until all lands where Croats and Serbs lived mixed together were in a total civil war situation. Local Croat and Serb militias set up roadblocks between their areas. Also, bridges and power lines serving enemy areas were blown up, and Croat police officers surrounded and captured small Yugoslav army bases. Neighbors attacked neighbors, and whole families of both groups were killed out of hand. And I want to emphasize that prior to the outbreak, the life of Croat and Serb hostilities, all the lands and people involved had lived together in almost perfect law and order since the close of World War II, which is the previous time the Croats and Serbs were playing soccer with each other's heads. Yeah, they do that. Now, I'm telling you that the same sequence of events could also plunge all of the USA into a 3,000-mile tribal bloodbath in as little as 1 week. Okay, why? Okay, I'm going to tell you why. First and most important is the stark fact that most Southern CA cops are Hispanic and most of the federal agents are not. This was the same basic situation in the former Yugoslavia. Second, the USA is undergoing an economic collapse of unprecedented scope and severity. Tens of millions are unemployed and their savings seized by New World Order inflation, and many millions more have had their various welfare payments slashed or cut off completely. Just like former Yugoslavia, we're full of hungry and furious people, and they're going to have some fun. Excuse me. And be advised that once these hostilities go regional, say all across Southern California, there will be no police to restore order because they will all be rebel soldiers. No one's going to come and help you. Any restoration of federal power will require an all-out military invasion, which will leave all Southern California a smoking wasteland because urban areas are relatively easy to defend, and reconquering them usually involves the complete destruction of all buildings and infrastructure. Sounds like lots of great video, huh, boys and girls? Third, the presence of many police stations, gun stores, and small National Guard armories will be rich sources for many weapons, including some capable of stopping tanks. That's the next uptick. But like their counterparts in the former Yugoslavia, the ones in Southern California are often small, located in dense urban areas with no defensive perimeter other than a chain link fence with no clear field of fire before the fence or outside their perimeter fence. These places are pieces of cake for besiegers. They might as well be gift wrapped. Fourth, local prominent Croat citizens sided with the rebels in the former Yugoslavia, and now many prominent local politicians in Southern California are siding with the local welfare parasites and gang members fueling the riots and looting. This town of Prusic Station is about 17 miles from the Adriatic Sea and about 7 miles north of Gospic, the nearest town of note, which had about 20,000 people during the war. The group of 9 large gray buildings in the picture below is a military installation where I was stationed. The trees are on the top of the ridge that overlooks the base. This is the area where the Croat cops with their sniper rifles pinned down the base's defenders. A deal was made and the defenders were allowed to leave by buses, but without any gas. The larger base in Gospic, which had tanks by the way, was taken by much the same methods. Croat police snipers on rooftops just outside the base gunned down any Serbs trying to run to the tanks. Now I will leave you with what some Croats said to me. One was the officer in charge of the Prusic mortar platoon. He said, quote, "Everyone knew there was going to be a war, so I stopped smoking and started jogging," unquote. Do you get that? He said that everyone knew there was going to be a war. That's approximately like how it is here today in the USA. That's how the USA is moving now. More and more people are seeing this looming disaster. When I wrote my book, Civil War II, back in, 93, I could only find 6 quotes in all the literature of this entire planet that pictured a looming tribal civil war in the USA. Now everybody's talking about it. Another time we were in a truck convoy moving through the town of Gospic, where much fighting has taken place. We rolled through block after block of smashed and burnt out houses and stores. It looked like every picture of Hiroshima you had ever seen. The guy next to me was a Croat who spoke a little English, so I asked him, "Hey, what the hell happened here?" He gave me a shy little smile and said, quote, "was Serbian district," unquote. Get the picture, boys and girls? Okay, thank you very much. Down at the bottom, at the end of this rant in the comments section, I'm going to leave you links to some playlists that I have made for you. One is Doom Watch, containing important news items, and another one is I can't remember, but it has all sorts of weird shit about weapons and smoking pot. My main 2 activities. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you again next week, and always support your local county sheriff.